All right. Well, hi, David. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Gaming and Leisure Voice. Today, I have David Ting, and he is from Bespin. And I just want to say, welcome, David. How are you today?
Very good. I appreciate your invitation. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is you're in San Francisco area.
That's correct.
That is.
Yeah, so I've been in Bay Area most of my life. I just love the hustle and also so many smart people I can learn from in the Silicon Valley. So I've been here for a while.
Oh, that is really, really great. I spent a lot of time in Silicon Valley when I worked for Google, so I tend to miss it a little bit. But enough of that. I just wanted to, get you welcomed here to the show. And, I was lurking around your LinkedIn profile, which is what I do every time, when I'm preparing for one of these podcasts. And what a variety of backgrounds. You're general manager, engineering, CISO. And when I think of a general manager, my brain goes immediately to the gaming business and running a property. So when you say you were a general manager, does that apply? Is it kind of a similar scenario?
Yes. So I was general manager for three different companies. So one is I incubated an esports business out of News Corp. As part of IGN Entertainment, a subsidiary of News Corp, and it got sold to Blizzard Entertainment.
Wow.
And the second one is I was building mobile game for a company out of China called NetEase. They're number two to Tencent, and we published a number of games. Number of them, several of them got featured on Apple and Google. One of them was Game of the Week for one of those. So owned the P&L and really built the business from one person myself to a $12 million business in a little bit over a year. The last job I had before Bespin was I was running, day to day as a global general manager at Zenny Optical. So it's a retail business. So, but the interesting thing is it's online only. So we do manufacturing direct to consumer. So you enter a prescription on the website and you're able to order. It's a 500 million
I
P&L.
wish,
So
right?
yeah,
Billion?
500 billion would be wrong letter. But half a billion. But then I was able to streamline EBITDA with a lot of the AI techniques that's more common and it's a lot easier to do today. And yeah, so just go straight to the bottom line, pretty much a good eight figures within a little bit over a year as well. The reason why I have a variety of experiences is always curious, trying to do everything. I feel like in the AI world, people talk about
Oh,
you could
yeah.
do everything, multidiscipline. It could be a marketer, you could be a salesperson, you could be an engineer, you could be like a business person, running finance simulation of the model, AI to bury gone down. But through my career, I just love to learn and try to, get to understand all the discipline and try to apply it to every day to make a difference.
Well, and if you don't learn something new every day, how do you continue to progress? That's the way I look at it. Just
Absolutely.
and it could be the most minute thing that you learn, but as long as you're progressing, you keep the brain going. That's the way it should be, especially in this field because it changes in 2 seconds. I mean, as the pace that technology is going at is unbelievable. But let me pull myself back and let's talk about Bespin a little bit. Now I have talked to Bespin before. I had Bill on the podcast, and my standard question is, "What's in a name?" And I understand it's a planet, it's a battlefront, something in Star Wars. I never got, I mean, I love Star Wars, but I don't know all the gory details. So tell me a little bit about what Bespin does and how is it relatable to our gaming and leisure audience here?
So Bespin is a name in Star Wars. It's a cloud city. So if you think
Ah,
about cloud, that's what we specialize in. So I was a customer of Bespin several times before coming in being the CTO of the company. So essentially, as a consumer, what will happen is that you're running a business, you're running your workload on the cloud. As it scales, your budget goes out of control. And then you wish like there's an expert you could talk to,
yes.
and that's exactly what Bespin does. So we do everything there from helping you shop and negotiate with, say, AWS, GCP, or Azure. So we could get you like a discount deal by making commitments, and then you get a good size discount, it's a double-digit discount. And then you also get credit for professional services from the cloud, and Bespin does that too, where you could build up your infrastructure with Bespin Engineer. So it lowers your total cost of ownership as well as it really helps you get things done faster. Lastly, it helps like manage those services too. So like in the cloud, if you don't have the people to manage, say your cloud infrastructure, today we're talking about security. We have the ability to help you manage. We have the people there. It's going to be cheaper because if you do 24 by 7,
Hmm.
follow the sun, you need at least 6 people to have the kind of like the bare bone team. And we could do it at a lower cost and more efficient and a higher expertise for you. Just a little bit from the financial side. Bespin over 1,300 employees worldwide, headquartered in Korea, 350 million US dollars of revenue per year. So we're fairly sizable as a company.
And I have personally worked with Bespin before. A great company, by the way. When you're in these projects, as a seller, I would take Bespin in with me, or Bespin would invite me. It depended on, the customer at the time. And when you're in this business and you're doing projects, they don't often get finished or
Yes.
they get too large or the objective is forgotten or lost or you get off track, whatever it is. And the one thing that I will say that I have experienced with Bespin is on time, on target, on budget. And so if I can give the company kudos, that's what I would give. So thanks for that. And
Appreciate it.
your cloud costs can go through the roof so quickly. It's really nice to have an advocate out there helping you because there's so many things that everybody has to accomplish when they're running an IT department or running a casino, and it's nice to have someone there to help.
I appreciate that. I'm glad you have firsthand experience, and that gives us a lot of validation for our hard work.
Yes, yes. Good job. Well done. So before we get into this really deeply, everyone, we need to take a quick commercial break. And as soon as we come back, we're going to dive in with some background and some other introductory information about David, and we'll see where it takes us. Agilysys helps the gaming industry realize its full potential through exceptional technology that goes beyond what other tech providers have trained hospitality to expect. We built our state-of-the-art hospitality-focused software for continuous innovation, industry-leading data sharing, maximum flexibility for best-of-breed performance, and smooth ecosystem integration, and an always learning guest profile engine so you can create personal experiences. It's time for hospitality to go beyond with technology from Agilysys. All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our commercial break, and I'm here with David Ting from Bespin. And so, one of the things that David and I talked about when we were preparing for the podcast is his vision on Vision AI. How's that for a way to jump into this? And when I think about retail and gaming, It's a very, very similar business. We always talk about the casino business being several businesses rolled into one. It's an entertainment business, it's a retail business, it's a hotel business, it's a restaurant business. But as we were talking and preparing, David, you had mentioned Vision AI, and I would love to have you share those thoughts here with our audience.
Awesome. Vision AI at Zenny, we don't have physical stores, so we do have manufacturing. One of the things that you have to understand is that you have robots that are coming, right? So people talk about robotics and they talk about physical AI. Physical AI means like you have your AI with the chat GPT, but then when it connects to the physical world, you'll have much more context, much more data, and you could have it automate a lot. That's how humans behave.
Okay.
And AI is going to move into a world where vision is part of its input. You can speak and then you could see, right? So all of that basically gives you context into automate certain things. So going back to it, my fascination of it is this, exactly that in manufacturing and retail, same thing in stores. If you have a camera up there, right now the stack is at a place where most people, if they have some expertise, they can start turning that video feed into a set of observations. Like, hey, maybe inside the warehouse, I need to pick and stock. Maybe inside a hotel, like we talked about this firsthand experience, everybody checks in at the same time. So I gone to one of the properties on the strip, and there
Yeah.
was a huge line at like 4 p.m. And
Check-in
then 6
time.
p.m.
Yep.
it's gone, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like wouldn't it be nice you just put a camera there and just see the line and you just tell people like when there's no line, say, hey, this is a great time for you to change to go in and check in. There's only 3 people in the line. And you could just opt in into one of your favorite mobile apps, right? So the key here is tying those to automation is going to create better experiences for both, like, say, retail or gaming. It just really helps you to very affordably. I'll just give you the cost. The cost of running that AI model is less than 10K. And the camera right now is pretty much several $100s, right, to get a
Yeah.
camera. And you get it up and running. And then the customer experience lift is just amazing. That ROI is probably insane. You probably get that back in 2 months or 1 month. Yeah,
So, and the cameras are already there. I mean, the casinos are laced with cameras every single
I
place.
agree.
So, can you join in on that video? Um, that's some intelligence right there to think about. Because the surveillance video obviously is, for regulatory purposes. But
Yes.
if you're not interfering with surveillance and you're augmenting your surveillance to do something that can help, oh, that's an idea.
Yeah.
That
And
is
then
really,
Yeah, and then
really an
like if you
idea.
look at like you want to have the best customer experience possible. So people have great time, they come back, they want to enjoy their dining.
Yeah,
You have sentiment analysis you can look at. You could also look at how your slot machines, there's ones that are busy, the ones that are not busy. You could get it augmented through a Vision AI as well. You could look at the floor traffic. This applies to retail and gaming, seeing where people are going, understanding where your promotions, how you're running your entertainment and venue. Try to
yeah,
understand your lulls, right? Of where there's no people. Runs maybe some live performances, and then use very, very good data. And this data could be mined for pretty much just thousands of dollars a year. And you could get that to power like so many great experiences. Like for myself, like for example, I was a gold member for one of the properties. I was standing in the wrong line. So I was standing in the common line because everybody's lining there. So I felt like I was impolite by going into like another line. But I'd say that's a little bit too much. But then if they can recognize my face, not my face, but some of the VIPs' faces like around the property, and then give them like special surprises, like it would be cool if somebody just comes in and pull me out of line and say, hey, sir, I think you're a gold member, right? You could come here. Let me help you. Wouldn't that like make up somebody's day? Like they just
Oh,
saved an hour.
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we all feel guilty if you're in a line and you end up getting to cut the line because of a membership status. But that's the benefits of being loyal to a brand. It's the same
exactly.
when you're, at the airport trying to get on a plane and it's like this status, this status, this status, and then the poor casual flyer. So maybe, we could even think about doing the reverse, because the poor, not financially poor. I'm just using it as a verb, but the everyday visitor who doesn't get any special treatment, maybe they can get some kind of special perk, and that would make their day, and that would
Absolutely.
really drive some loyalty, some positive feedback, because as we well know, Vegas has not been getting a lot of good press from customers lately.
Yeah, like for example, if your wait time's an hour, when you check in, they just say, "Oh, sir, I'm so sorry that you waited for an hour. Here's like $10 off of any food and beverage on the property," right?
Yeah.
Like that would just like be amazing. Like you'll be data driven and you are sympathetic and empathetic to the situation. And
Yes.
yeah, that would just make somebody's day, right? And then that gives you an ROI too. Like a $10 probably not going to cover much in Vegas these days, like,
Barely.
right? Yeah, barely, but they will eat on the property, right?
Yep.
So that
Yep.
would actually give you a pretty good return. But my point here is that whole ability of AI tying to physical world with sound, we're talking about vision, audio is the same thing. But then, of course, there's privacy concerns. But I'm just saying that there's a lot of other signals that you could use for automation, and I'm
You
fascinated by it. Yeah,
You definitely could. And I can also, putting um the customer service aspect aside, using Vision AI for surveillance opens up a whole new line of, compliance with the gaming control board, the ability to be more proactive in reporting, people who are not allowed to be in your casino, et cetera. I mean, I see a lot of ideas and a lot of usage for Vision AI. That's a
yeah, I
very
agree.
interesting concept. I like it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And again, AI just jumped on the scene, what, 3 years ago now? Has it been 3 years?
Yeah,
4 years? Three.
it's 20, yeah, 3 years,
Yeah.
barely 3 years. And the fact that it's so rapidly adopted, like for example, you want to talk about OpenClaw. I didn't know this.
I do want to
Linux.
talk about OpenClaw.
So I just saw the NVIDIA GTC conference with Jensen Huang talking about OpenClaw.
Yeah.
And he said that, hey, we have more GitHub stars on OpenClaw than Linux.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just only a couple months. So the adoption rate now is in like days of new AI technology. It's just insane how everything is moving so fast these days.
So let's talk about OpenClaw.
Hmm.
I was reading about it this morning in my financial news briefs that come in every morning. I sit there and suck down my coffee and get my eyes open and read about finance. Boy, is that exciting. But let's talk about OpenClaw. If you could explain OpenClaw in an elevator pitch, what is OpenClaw?
So OpenClaw essentially is an AI system you can implement on your own computer that becomes your AI assistant. So you can talk to it. So you could chat to it, you could call it, and it will do things for you as if it's an employee for your company. The beauty is that the framework is open source, so it's free to run. And the community created a bunch of plugins. There are ones that cost money, there are ones that doesn't cost money. It could do a lot of things for you, like
Hmm.
manage your calendar, the one I'm still perfecting is auto respond to my email. Yeah, but like scheduling a time on my calendar could be automated, right? And then
Yeah.
also like some of this like repetitive email. where it's like for marketing standpoint, I do reach out to my network. I have a good set of people I know on LinkedIn. I don't talk to them a lot because it's, over 10,000 at a certain point. It's just like 1 to 10,000. That ratio is impossible,
It
right?
is. It
And
is.
then,
Yeah.
but with OpenClaw, you can start automating some of those reach out, and then you start scheduling time on your calendar on some of the people who are important in your life and create some life experiences. Also, you could use it for marketing, right? So account-based marketing, automatically create connections. So this
Imagine
is where you
that.
post the content with your podcast, right? And then when somebody listens to your podcast, you'll automatically send them a connection request. Like you don't even need to touch it. That would be a skill that OpenClaw will have that you enable for it to run for you.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that idea because it is hard to stay on top of everything. The A personality in me, though, would be OpenClaw. You have to give me a synopsis of what you did for me today because
Yes,
I would not want things to occur that I'm not aware of. Can it do
right.
that?
Yes, there's a log of all the things that you have, you create, and you control like what it runs for you. It could actually just, like, for example, a popular hack is that if you don't want them to automatically write the emails for you, put them in a draft folder. So in the morning, you just go in, open a draft folder,
And
say,
all
here are
your
all the
drafts are
emails I need to
there.
send. You read it, send, 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 right? Then that's it. Or you edit it to
Yeah.
make it sound more like you. The
Yeah.
beauty with AI is that you need to tell you who you are, how you behave. So it's a debugging process because
Yeah.
humans evolving,
Create
I'm
your
evolving.
agent. Yes. Yes.
Exactly. So it basically sound like you creepy. It's a little bit creepy because we're going to talk about security in a minute. Like the deep fake, it's pretty much it takes like less than a minute of my voice, even on the podcast, to train AI to sound like me for
Oh
social
yeah.
engineering, right?
Oh yeah.
So the whole beauty of this is that you could use it for good too, right? So you could say automatically draft this, I edit it. They can help you leave a voice note for you for somebody you care about. But that one to many ratio is something like OpenClaw will help you. The good news here is that because it's so popular, I'll give you a little anecdote. So it is so popular in China, for example. So everybody talk about OpenClaw. They even have mascot of a lobster. So the whole thing is they talk about kind of growing your lobster. So I gone to this Chinese restaurant. I know the owner pretty well because I eat there several times a week. And then he knows I work on AI, so he doesn't know what I do because I like to keep things private. But he asked me, "Are you growing lobster?" So the first thing I thought is that live lobster. But then
Oh my gosh.
I say, "Oh, I know OpenClaw's
Open.
kind of like nickname is lobster in China." So I said, "Are you talking about OpenClaw?" And he goes, "Yes." I said, "I'm trying to grow my own lobster." I said, "I'm trying to grow mine, but the process is pretty hard to get it right. It's to be like you."
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. How? So that's interesting too.
Mhm.
Um, where the names come from. For example, GitLab, GitHub, all of the little, monikers. OpenClaw. How did it come? How did the community come up with the term OpenClaw?
So the creator of OpenClaw is one person. Um, he basically called it Clawbot, and then he changed several names and then came out to OpenClaw. I don't know if he knew he's gonna go to OpenAI at that point, but OpenAI kind of acqui-hired him into
Yeah, yeah,
OpenAI, right?
yeah.
So I personally, Claude bot sounds very similar to Claude, which is the Anthropic product. So
Claude.
I think
Yep, there we go.
I'm sure like there was some legal, something that happened there, right? So he just in 2 days rebranded it like two or three times, and then it stuck with OpenClaw. And then when
It's
that
great.
announcement OpenAI acquired them, I was saying, oh, that's why they call it open. And then
That's why,
Claw
yeah.
is just like kind of, I think it sounded like to Claude. right? So I thought like that was pretty clever.
Oh, that is clever. And the lobster, okay? I mean, I just went to the Hadoop elephant and so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, open
we're
claw with the lobster, right? And then Jensen Huang, like GTC is almost like a must-watch these days, like kind of like Steve Jobs back in the days with Apple WDC, right? On the Apple releases. So he even talked about open claw, right? So he basically calls himself the token king, right? So
I
with
like
an
it.
awesome pose, like say he's the best, but then also say like his revenue is going to be $1 trillion instead of 100 billion, like just 1 year, right? 10x his revenue. And then of course, you talk about open claw because the excitement there, I'll talk about the kind of the downside of open claw because a lot of people don't know like the cost of open claw. So it's open, it's free, it's right, but it runs on a model.
It
So
does.
it runs on OpenAI, it runs on, say, Anthropic's Claude, you could pick it. So if you're not very good at it, and this is me, very quickly you misconfigure OpenClaw and you burn through your credits. Like hundreds of dollars will just disappear from your account. And then so I start doing my ROI and TCO analysis. It's probably because I'm not so good on OpenClaw, but then I started looking at my bill. I said, wait a minute, this virtual assistant is actually taking a pretty good salary with all of the tokens this is burning, right? So Token King, which is Jason Wong, wants to burn a ton of tokens. That's why he's pushing OpenClaw. But for people who are not good at it, just word of caution when you use it, just watch
Good
how
point.
much you burn, right? Because it will be hundreds or thousands of dollars that you easily can consume by setting up these agents for you.
So there's our customer service and warning for the day. Watch your wallet because it
Yes,
could add
yes.
up quickly, and it does. AI can add up quickly. Reading when I read my financial news every day, it goes on and on about how the costs are through the roof.
Mhm.
But it goes back to, and I'm going to do my plug for Bespin right now. If you have a partner advocating for you and helping you keep an eye on things, even if something as personal as OpenClaw, for example, it can help you make sure that your FinOps is in line and doesn't get out of control.
That's exactly right. Leslie, that's a great point. And that's why I'm very proud to be CTO of Bespin because not only we do cloud, we're adding AI optimization in there. So we
Good.
are our own dog food. I'm building AI products as we speak. And then there's a lot of optimization techniques. And then there's a learning curve to get there. But then at the same time, here if somebody needs a little bit of help through that journey.
Absolutely. And as the CTO, I mean, you have a CISO background as well.
Mhm.
And let's OpenClaw, we'll use that as our example. And even with Vision AI, I mean anything AI. Um, Attacks. I mean, as soon as something is created, the bad guys are going to attack. So what is being done, in your opinion, on attacking the bad guys out there and then how to thwart them?
Yeah,
I know
that's a
that's a
great
big
question.
question.
So when I came into Bespin, my charter is to turn Bespin into the AI age from a technology standpoint. So I'm a big believer in building and trying things before we sell it. So I created two products. We started with security with that first issue. Okay, so let's say OpenClaw. If you read around, the first concern, aside from token cost, people are not worried about token cost like I do, but security. So if you give people control of your desktop and browser, this is an AI bot.
Yeah,
Okay. How do you secure it? It's too powerful. It can impersonate like you. What happens is a hacker gets to it. What happens
yeah,
if they get your information, they get your login, they steal your password? Like, how do I even know like this thing is secured or hardened, right?
that's right.
So this is why we create our security product called SecureAid. Um, if you look at it, we're going to go into an age where I believe that AI-based attacks, and I'll explain it a little bit, is going to be so profitable. It's going to be the new bank robbery that I'm going to talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually attackers comes in and if they get a hold of your data, your company's data, they will basically send you a letter demanding certain amount of dollars, or else they release it publicly. And this
Right.
is your most important customers, and you'll be labeled like this is where it's public record. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody.
Hmm.
MGM basically got hacked. They didn't pay the hacker, and it caused over $100 million in damage, and they got fined $45 million for the data breach. And Caesars Entertainment, they got hacked. They paid the hacker. Rumor has it they paid $30 million and negotiated down to 15, if I remember correctly, and unknown fines, right? So for leaking the information. And this is where, if you think about AI making you faster and better, it's making hackers better and faster.
Oh, yeah.
So before, hackers will take weeks or months to scan your infrastructure to understand what software is installed, which API or external endpoints are open to the internet, and then which ones has the payloads, and they basically manually write the code to go in and try to pull data out. Maybe it's through your APIs, maybe through something else, right? And maybe it's like going into your network or social engineer through your employees or act like your employee to get your data, right? So most people don't are not aware that that is even happening until the data is lost. So the first thing, and this is why we created Secure Aid, is that we believe AI attacks needs AI defense. So you really need to know abnormal activity as quickly as possible, okay, inside your infrastructure. Supposedly, like say, David, if I'm going in and requesting a spreadsheet that is based in the finance department, that's strange. That should be an alert. The first thing you do is make David log in again. If it happens again, disable the account. David will call and we'll go through the right identity validation process before I can access the network again because hackers likely in the system. Same thing with your servers and infrastructure and all of your, even your reporting tool. I was talking to a very senior technical leader and they said their biggest breach is Salesforce. So, point of attack. Yeah.
Okay.
So sellers, they're very open. They're social people. They're
They
very
are.
trusting, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody knows who you are, they call you in person, they say, hey, this is the IT department. We want to check if your laptop is working. Can you go in and hit this URL and type in your password? And then that's what we
Boom.
need for a
Done.
validation. And greater than 50%, somebody does that. And all of a sudden you have breach, right? So but behind the scene, in order to defend those attacks, you need to know that abnormal activity. So they will use the user ID password, start to scan what's in this person has access to. That scanning is abnormal, and you can suspend an account right there. But you have to do it in like less than a minute. So that's
Before
the
they,
part
yeah.
that the AI defense that we're building at Bespin with SecureAid is exactly infrastructure. Partner with Google, try to build this defense for our customers.
Which and that is a fantastic thing that AI is good for. I mean, the attackers are going to use AI. So let's use their own tool against them. I always call it like alert fatigue and
Mhm.
all of, the things that the everyday person gets. Or you open up a port because you're working on a project and it's like, oh, I need to open this port. And then you walk away and you forget that you left the port open. AI can say, hey, this is not our normal configuration. Do you want to turn this off? There's so many little things that you can use it for. I'm glad to hear that is coming about. And hopefully the CISOs of the world are open to these types of conversations to improve their security posture. Because
Right.
aren't they liable? They're
Oh yeah.
liable. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when there's a data breach, usually the CISO goes. So I was very nervous when I was a CISO and also the product and technology leader for several startups because that's a combined
Yeah.
role. And then this is why when I'm a Bespin, if you look at most CISOs, they do compliance. So you do like SOC 2,
Yeah.
Type 2. They're
Yeah.
just paperwork. It doesn't make you more secure by filling
No.
out the paperwork, right? So the thing that's why I am so passionate about Secure 8 is that, hey, this is actually an insurance card for my job if I'm the CISO at a company because this protects me. So I'm building another AI product called Salvio. This is a manufacturing AI. So I built two product lines. So I use Secure 8 to actually secure a Salvio. So we scanned, this is eating our own dog food. So
Yes.
we found a huge vulnerability. So it's exactly like what you said. One of the developers, they basically left the data wide open because they're doing development against a ML model. They didn't know how to use IAM on AWS.
Yeah.
And all like he just made it wide open and whew, our
It's
security found it, right? They say,
thank
hey, you let
goodness.
this wide open. You got to tighten this up, right? Yeah,
Wow. And that's just in development. Could you imagine if it was production data?
that's exactly
But
it.
with development, if they can get in through a dev area, they can get to production. I mean, eventually there's a way.
Yeah. And then now, like, you have AI writing a lot of the code.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't trust the AI written code. I trust my own stuff better, but that's legacy. Okay. So there's a new set of engineers don't even look at the AI code. They just ship it and see if it works.
Isn't
So you
that?
have to check it for the security side because there's this thing I'll talk about. This is pretty interesting. Is that most people when they build the AI code use a lot of open source. But when you use the open source, it doesn't check where it gets its open source. They just pull. So a lot of the hackers now they act like an open source like a contributor. They go into some of the popular libraries and they inject a backdoor into the infrastructure, right? So you just use npm, you get the latest libraries, you just run it as part of your deployment script. AI will do it all for you, but inside, you just let the hacker in by pulling that open source library, right? And all of a sudden, you have this open door. So the way you think about the future infrastructure with the developers using AI, business people using AI, vibe coding a ton of stuff, I myself doing it, I'm super dangerous. And you just need to have better defense. You can't block them all. And this
Oh
is where
my
you can't
gosh.
stop the business from going. You need to be detecting. You got to over invest in security today.
I would have never even thought that, but man, I must be too trusting. I'm a former developer from years and years ago.
Yeah,
And security was not the level that it needs to be today. But even, when we would take things through, the QA process and run it through to make sure it was hardened, things people would do to break it, to hack it. I'm like, who thinks of this stuff? And again, it goes back to no matter what you create, no matter what you invent, there's always a bad guy that wants to take it from you or impersonate you or do something nefarious. It's just,
I
it
could
blows
give you
me
the money
away.
amount. So average data breach is 500K for the hackers. So if you look at it, with all the people in the world, if you just get one successful hack, you get $500,000. Isn't that safer than a bank robbery?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So that's why I call it like the new bank robbery, right?
yeah.
And
It
then
really
um,
is.
and
Oh
then
my
the
gosh.
other aspect is you have to protect your own organization. So this is new hacker, like they will in person because a lot of remote workers, contractors especially. So you go in to get in part of the network, right? So now hackers will go in and apply for a job in the company they want to hack into and get the data out, send it to their buddies, and they basically hijack your data.
Yeah.
So this is why part of SecureAid has this deception feature we call HoneyGuard. So we defend it by two ways. One is we insert these fake files. We'll call it like budget.xls or something like that. As soon as somebody opens that file, we know the hacker's in the system. So that's a smart way to defend, right?
Hmm.
The other way is also do that on the server side. So we basically make it look like a database. It acts like a database, but as soon as it acts as server, we know they're in. On top of it, we log all their instructions so we know exactly
What
what
they're
that
doing.
attack vector is, right?
Yep.
So, but before AI, I would say the speed is pretty much like in months or years. But with AI, it's less than a couple minutes and they're
Minutes.
in,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So because of that, that's why you need to invest in these tools. People are just not fast enough to be able to look at all the logs, triangulate, and there's too many alerts, false alarms. You'll just get it swamped, and then you'll be just like, it's a whack-a-mole. And
Yeah, it is. It really is. What a what a breath of fresh air. I love hearing that. I wanted to zero in on something that is really important to you, David. You're at Bespin today, and when we met at the forum, you had talked about this new venture that's incubating. So, would you mind, or can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So I'm a fairly good strategist, but I always believe strategy is like a penny or even less than that now with AI out there until you actually put real execution behind it. So when I put together the strategy for Bespin turning into AI business, there's four levels of strategy. The first level is streamline your business, minimize the headcount and just automate everything you could. Second one is security, which we talked about.
Oh, yes.
Instead of just practicing security, we built a product behind it. So not only are we helping Bestman to get more secure, we're also helping our customer getting secure to be a subscription product. The third one is a domain. So I spent almost 10 years in manufacturing and retail. So this is where I had the perspective. When I first started, I was working at IBM, date myself over 30 years ago. It's almost as
Good old
good as Google.
IBM.
Yeah, because it's number one hardware, number one software. There's really nothing there that it can't do. So I worked at IBM in a semiconductor plant as an engineer. So I got a few awards through that as an engineer. So I really understand and I know how manufacturing should be to tune the quality and then really get a good ROI through good code. And then I also ran three plants across the world at Zenny. So I actually had basically the general manager perspective of what it takes to operate the stuff. And I had over 3,000 employees, mostly on the manufacturing line, but a lot of them are analyzing the data. And then, so we created a Selvio. So a lot of the technology is what we just talked about was vision for manufacturing. So it's ready to go. You could pretty much turn the camera with a video feed, and that video feed is pretty much going to become a set of expert observations like, hey, there are not too many people there, versus like in manufacturing line, I know how many things are producing. Is this safe? How do I improve
Mm.
the quality? So like
That's
going
right.
in, inspecting stuff for quality at a high precision and very, very fast. And then on the other side, build out the digital agents on the cloud. So we're cloud experts. So in 8 weeks, you got your data foundation, cloud foundation, data foundation. You have your agent and you have all the AI models. And we work with you to tune the AI from vision to causal AI to all the different optimization, supply chain optimization models that you could do to handle and automate a lot of the back end. So we estimate, and this is conservative, that we could do about 3.7x ROI, meaning a dollar in gets you $3.70 of savings. So we're doing some prototype with publicly traded company, and then hopefully that this thing is going to be really, really good. So our CEO and chairman asked me, say, David, you talked about the four stage about like these AI, domain AI will be make it part of Bespin, but at a certain point, these company could stand on its own with AI valuation. Right now is the time to do so. So you pick one. I said, so our chairman's in town, so Hanju, and then he had a conversation with me. So I said, "Can I pick both?" I'm greedy. It's like your children. You have to take both of them with you, right? He said, "No, you only can pick one. You're not good enough to run two." So I'm running two right now. So I said, "No, you got to raise, and then you got to really show focus." And I said, "Well, I can't pick." And then he said, "Well, we'll pick for you." So they picked me. He said, "Nobody else. There are people who could do security at Bespin because Bespin security is so close and adjacent to our core
Yes.
business. And then manufacturing is nobody else really. So I'm taking this. We'll spin it out, and I'll be running the company. So I'll be back on my general manager path very
Yeah.
soon. Yeah.
You will. Oh my goodness. So the whole time you were explaining that, I'm like, okay, how can we apply some of that to the casino business?
Yeah,
Um,
so a lot of the use cases we talk about is essentially the same framework. So in 8 weeks, we could build a custom vision model. So that video feed, maybe from a surveillance camera, it'll
yeah.
turn to observation and it'll trigger action with the digital agents. Like for example, giving coupons or message them because you have
Uh-huh.
your phone number on the profile, right? Say, hey, so and so, there's less people at this line. Just walk there. Like Caesars has two check-in lines. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Kind of like,
So
here's
there's
your
one.
informative text. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all of those things could be done in 8 weeks. We'll set up the cloud, we'll do the vision AI, we'll do everything. And it's just a turnkey solution. So we're
And
talking to some gaming industry opportunity prospects. So it's helping their warehouse management, and then it's also
yeah.
stuff coming in, taking count, inventory loss, picking, and there's a lot of those use cases that you could streamline for, like say the buffets and stuff. And then also on the back end, supply chain optimization. So it could actually automatically send orders out for you. You know, the bid price. I did this at a logistic company called Flexport. Like for example, vendors overcharge. So you could dispute the charges automatically. We do that for the last mile, for example. Trucking companies, if you start looking at distance as one of the parameters on what
Hmm.
the charge should be, very obvious, right?
Yeah.
And you compare to your peer groups, you'll find that there's a 3 sigma delta with some of the more honest ones and then less honest ones. And it could be just a typo, but then we created like an automatic dispute system. Back in the days, AI is harder to work with. And that saved, 8-figure amount for a logistics company. You could do that too. So there's a lot of things you could do to really streamline the back end of any operation.
Yes, I mean, the warehouse, right? When product is coming in, and then I like the quality aspect of it, being able to make sure with Vision AI that your quality is on target. But there's so many opportunities. And I like that 8-week startup. And again, I don't normally do this during a podcast, everybody, if you've listened to my podcasts, but I have actually worked with Bespin when I was a salesperson, and um, we did some pretty amazing projects together that saved the company money and also, made money for us as the sales folks, doing the work. Um, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to hear more about it, David. This is great. And
I
it's the
I
innovative things that the industry needs. Uh, I could get off on my horse on that one there, but we really need innovative, out of the box thinking, what can take us to the next level. And it's not always the casino floor. Sometimes it's just optimizing the back end. Did we get
absolutely.
everything delivered and put in the right spot at the right time?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then it could be like theft, picking, you look at the inventory consumption rate, you automatically order, right? So maybe you're out of lobsters, open claw reference, right? Instead of like your head chef having to rush that order, your
Have you
agent is actually rushing that order for you to
have
the
you
supplier, right?
have you
And then
built
calling
your
them and say, hey,
lobster
we need a
yet?
rush. Yeah, we need more roster here at the, at the Wim Buffet, right? So, but anyways, it's just really like we believe when we created Secure Aid and a Salvio, which is the manufacturing AI, that trying is believing. Like we'll take out all the complexity, just try our solution, and then once you try it, you let us know. You don't pay if it doesn't work, but if it works, then you become a loyal customer.
What's there to
Um,
lose? Yeah.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's only
Maybe
8 weeks.
yeah, and eight
Yeah,
weeks, maybe a little bit of consumption
yeah,
fees, and that's it.
that's
That
it.
it's
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go out on a limb here. It's your hyperscaler of choice. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's what
It's
I thought.
hyperscaler choice. It runs on all clouds. On the secure aid side, it is actually it's more we're a Google partner. So we love the Google infrastructure. Google created this thing called
Pretty
Google Threat
tight.
Intelligence. Yeah, you're from Google. It
Yeah.
has all the attack vectors on Chrome and
Yeah.
Google.com and all the Google properties. I said, well, that data set makes you so good. And
Yeah.
then it's built on top of Borg and
Oh yeah.
TPUs, right? So the AI cost is so low. So when you start looking at it, running it on different stack is going to be more expensive. Why not partner with Google and have all of this, which is built on top of it?
Yep, yep. You're preaching to the choir there. I was completely impressed with what Google can do.
Mhm.
But there is it's a religious war when you talk about hyperscalers, and we're not going to go there today. But I like the fact that Bespin is hyperscaler agnostic because it 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 all comes down to your shop and your operations and your core skill sets. Um, you have to go with what you know, and hopefully they'll see that maybe we need to peek over the fence and look at other things to get even better. But that again, that's a whole nother topic, and
Exactly.
maybe we'll talk about that because
Absolutely.
it's pretty deep, and I think it could take an entire podcast.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And then I think like we scratch on the surface, but you touch on the key point is like thinking differently in the age of AI. If you're not doing it, your competitors are. And then
Yes.
the speed that people are moving and shifting to the new paradigm of thinking is so fast. So just it's a if I, am in any company, I should be really going out there and just try as many of these new ideas as possible and just cut like your costs that you could just cut with these technology and
Yeah.
you'll be that much more competitive. It will make a
Yeah.
career, it can make a company.
That's exactly right. And it could be cutting cost, it could be speed to market, it could be improving operations, it
Higher
could be.
quality,
There,
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
There's so
you
many
win all.
things, but you have to be agile enough to say, let's run with this. And if you're halfway through it and you're like, it's not going to work, abandon it and go on to the next one. Just it's the only way to stay on top of it because it's coming at us, everyone. It is coming as fast as it can. And yeah, I use AI every day. I can't even fathom writing my own meeting minutes anymore. It's like,
Me
thank
too.
goodness.
Yes,
And that's just a little tip of the scale of what it can do. Um, and we do need to wrap up, but I want to wrap up with a thought. Years ago, I had somebody that I worked with, and he said, computers are not here to make our lives easier. They're here to make our lives faster. And that's exactly what it does. Now, is faster better? And the health effects, we'll leave that to the experts, but I think AI is proving the speed I mean, it's the speed of light practically. 3 years, and look where we're at today. Um,
Yep.
and look where Bespin's going. I mean, you guys are staying on pace, and you're actually trying to exceed it, and I like that. Um, so we need to wrap up. I don't want to at all. There's a million things that I want to talk to you about, and we could probably talk for a couple of hours. But thank you so much, David, for being here today. Thank you for your time, for sharing your ideas. They're genius, and I it triggered a bunch of neurons in my brain today that I've written a bunch of notes so that I can go back and look at some things. Um, Bespin, thank you for being a part of the gaming and leisure community. I'm assuming we're going to see you at the roundtable this fall.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's our plan. So we'll keep you posted. Yeah, so Bill and
Yeah.
I are both huge fans of the community that you bring together. So we would love to be part of it.
We love having you, and this will be your first roundtable. Bill's been
Yes.
to the one last year. It's great. I mean, the community that comes together, and it's not an opportunity to go and pitch and sell, but it's an opportunity to get to know your constituents, and that's what we love about the roundtable. So I look forward to seeing you this fall. Everyone, I look forward to seeing you at the next podcast, and I hope you enjoyed this one. And thank you for, giving us a little bit of your time today. Go and make it a great day, and we will see you soon.